Hello. Welcome. This is Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and this is a reading for Taurus, wherever Taurus shows up in your chart. And of course, just like everybody else on YouTube, honestly, I honestly really struggle with the whole asking people to subscribe to my channel thing. But it needs to be said, right? But also I feel like everybody knows that about, YouTube. I don't know. Anyway, it's like the one thing that I struggle with in these videos. And it's also like, it's kind of become the one thing that I'm forcing myself to do because I do have discomfort around it. What is that? Exposure therapy. So anyway, I would love it. I would absolutely love it if you subscribed to my YouTube channel. And what else? Kind of got off track a little bit there. This is a 3-card reading. So the first card is your current energy or the energy that's surrounding you. The second is the energy that's leaving or that's no longer serving you. The third is the energy that's coming in or that will be available to you. And then we'll clarify each one of those cards with another card. I don't take the jumpers for this spread, so I'm just going to shuffle a bunch of times, get the cards good and warmed up, and then we'll get your spread out. I hope you guys are doing well. All right, for my Taurus homies. All right. So, current energy, we have the Oracle of Wands or the Queen of Wands. The energy that's leaving is the Eight of Swords. Love that. How interesting, though. Huh, okay. And what's coming in? The Champion of Pentacles. This is the Knight of Pentacles. And then we have the Nine of Wands to clarify the Queen of Wands. We have the Eight of Cups to clarify the Eight of Swords. Very interesting. Ooh, and we have Judgment with the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Like these cards are like kind of like they're not really straight, so they like move around. Anyway, okay. Just kind of moved stuff around a little bit. Huh. There is a lot of like transformation, and it also like it feels like you are putting a lot of energy into it. Also interesting, we have Jupiter here. Jupiter's in Gemini right now. So depending on, where Gemini is for you, obviously, like if you're a Taurus rising, it would be your second house, which is, material possessions, luxury, money. So a lot of emphasis on what that looks like for you. But, if you're not a Taurus rising, like I'm a Cancer rising, I'm a Taurus sun. So Gemini would be my 12th house. So it'd be like scrambling my brains is like how that feels. But it's interesting. So like when I first saw this card, what really initially stuck out to me is that we have this black cat and there's these 2 lions behind the cat, right? And it's there's this creator on TikTok. They have working dogs, and I'm pretty sure, like, I don't follow them, but their videos pop up on my For You page every once in a while. But all of their videos are of, it's usually like the middle of the night, when the dogs hear like coyotes or they hear a sound or whatever, and they go to investigate it to keep the chickens and the sheep and goats and shit safe, But all of a sudden this cat showed up. I don't think that it was like their cat, but it's like all of a sudden this cat has become part of the team. So like when I first saw this card and I saw this cat with these two lions behind it, it's like, it's almost like this feeling of an unlikely leader was what was coming through. Like, don't count yourself out just because you see things differently or your approach is different, or the philosophies that you have around leadership are different. It's interesting that it's also even coming through as far as like leadership goes. That's got to be a message for at least one person, but there's definitely a lot of like internal work that is happening here, because for me, the queens in general are when we recognize the energy within ourselves. We learn to work with it within ourselves. So it's really, going within yourself and deciding like, how do you want to express yourself? Where does your confidence come from? What things are you confident in and can, build on? Where are there areas, even like I was saying at the beginning of this reading, where there is discomfort around something, especially with the 9 of Wands, because this could also be like having this feeling that you need to show up somewhere. That like you need to express yourself in some kind of way. Right? Or even, again, like being capable of leading, whether that's, a leadership position at work, whether that's, your friend group, a relationship, whatever, your own life, like really taking the proverbial bull by the horns, like getting your shit together, being the bull of the zodiac. But it's like, the road to get there, the road to get where you are right now has been difficult. This really actually, it really feels like this oomph. Like there's a lot of energy available around you for you to pull in, to pull this thing off. And it's also one of those things of like, if the problem is the people around you either don't get the vision or don't support you or don't, even promote the, it's like if they're not pumping you up, right? Like if they're not fanning the flames for you, then it could be a thing about like changing your audience even. Because again, like, so the cat and the lions were the two things, the things that I saw at first, but there is this big ass butterfly on there too. And of course, butterflies are the like literal symbol of transformation. Truly, they start off in life as one thing. Little caterpillar, right? And then they completely transform into something else, right? And not a single one is exactly the same. You could look at one and be like, oh, that's a monarch because, there's colors on it and, markings and stuff. But if you were to look at any two next to each other, there's subtle differences, right? So this could even be, a lifelong process, of course, but this could maybe not even be the first time that you have experienced a major transformation, like a complete 180. And again, right, I mean, like, it has not been easy. But also it's like it's taking everything, every experience that you've had, every, you know, every win, every loss, every, in between, and it's making a decision here of like, what is it going to be now? I mean, you could be like in the middle, like, in the chrysalis phase. Right. I mean, even the dang caterpillar has to build their own chrysalis, right? And then they turn to goo inside of that, and then eventually come out, as a butterfly. And then they have to get themselves out of that shit. So like, this is very, very personal, very much like you are doing the work, clearly, because the Nine of Wands here. And nines are also individual completion. So, even if you are in the chrysalis phase, since I'm just going to kind of go with the butterfly thing, there is like a proverbial or hypothetical, whatever, okay, the word is, light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, really, it's like making the finishing touches type of thing. Like, you have a plan, you have a design, scheme. So now it's just kind of putting everything in its place, and also even taking action towards things, because we're talking about wands. What's leaving is the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Cups. Again, with the eights, which is usually, it's like abundance, infinite energy. Anytime I see an eight, right, like the infinity symbol, just the constant flow of energy. And what is so interesting is that the card that came out after, okay, this is why I think tarot is so cool, because on the Oracle of Wands there's two lions, right? And on the Eight of Swords there's a lion in a cage. What are the odds of that happening? This guy looks like a tiger. Honestly, I mean, it even looks a little bit like a lion. I wonder, I don't know if the book even says what. No, it doesn't say. But it does almost look like a illustrated version of the lions, just like the ear shape, and how, there's these dark areas of the fur. I don't know. I mean, honestly, we can convince ourselves of anything. And really the only reason why I'm trying to convince myself of that is because it fits like with the rest of the reading. So yeah, with the eights over here, there is this disconnect, or like detachment is really the word that I was trying to say, to like a pattern of thinking. Even to like assumptions is coming to mind, like, the way that you assumed things were going to go. It's interesting, like with all of the letters here. To me that feels like old shit. And it feels like having an attachment to something. But that attachment to whatever it has been has caused a lot of damage, or it's like really prevented you from taking action, from coming out of, the chrysalis. It could even just be to like other people's expectations, like even if it's not conscious, like it's not at the forefront of your mind, right? Like just, family expectations, societal expectations, you know, having a hard time believing that like some other way would work out. Big emphasis on mountains also, like throughout. And mountains always, for me, it's about the journey, ebbs and flows, right? I mean, it could be absolutely gorgeous one day and the next, the complete opposite. I also just realized too that we have, 34, 43, and then we have 57 and 75. This is 30, that's 20. I don't know. What are the odds? I don't know. But what is leaving? There is some attachment. And it's interesting because it's like, the way that it's been living in your head and the way that that has been controlling your emotional body, your nervous system, even. There's something happening there. And also what is so interesting is that in the 8 of Cups, there's all these eyes up here, right? And they're all crying. I can imagine that this, whatever this is, has been like, it literally feels like a chokehold. And, it's almost like the tears or the emotion has been like out of frustration because there is some level of feeling trapped by it. Or, yeah. I mean, trapped in the sense of feeling like something is out of your control, whether it's like a reaction that you have, a way of thinking, that you have a mindset, like just feeling controlled by something. And then we have the Champion Pentacles and Judgment. I actually picked up the book because I was like, I'm curious. It says, the line between dedication and stubbornness is fine. You may find yourself inspired, but also obsessed with sticking to one desired outcome. Do you feel like you have the sovereignty to choose your own path? Actually, past. Well, kind of, because even our past, right? Like, we are the ones that are deciding what the story of our past is. Whatever this situation is with the 8 of Swords and the 8 of Cups, you are the one that is deciding what that story is, what that attachment is, what, the control or the level of control is, how it controls your nervous system, how it controls your emotions, how much you feel, trapped by it. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, do you feel like you have sovereignty to choose your own path? Addictive and obsessive tendencies are normal. Acknowledge and detach shame from these waves of impulse. Remain dedicated to your path. The champion lives within you. Steady, joyful, and loyal. That's kind of interesting. I'm kind of glad that I read that. Judgment says, do you feel a stirring in your soul? Judgment tells you that your inner world has grown or is about to. Brace for a thrilling spiritual adventure full of twists and turns. This will require a level head if you don't want to get dizzy. Consider this reassurance that you're on the right path. If, however, this card is surrounded by more fraught cards indicating that you aren't seeing things clearly, or perhaps that you're burdened with shame, doubt, or misperception, you may be missing some important lessons. Something within is longing to awake. That is so fucking right. There's this coffin here. Like, literally something is ready to be laid to literal rest. And also, like with the Knight of Pentacles, that is the slowest moving knight in the whole tarot. So anytime I see the Knight of Pentacles show up, and I feel like if the Knight of Pentacles comes out, it is usually towards the end. I always feel like it's a message about not rushing, not gauging success on the quickness of something. Like, if we have been consistent at something for a month or two, but we're not quite seeing the results of it, then we're like, fuck it. Like it's not working. It's not, I'm not being successful at it. No. The Knight of Pentacles is here to say, this is long haul stuff. Like it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't like, we're very anti-diet over here. So I don't want to like get into that too much, but it is, right? I mean, like it is making small changes every day and sticking to those small changes every day. It's not just making a big change for, a day or two and then going back to the same way you were doing stuff, right? Like, no, it's making small, manageable, practical changes. Even there's eyes in these pentacles too. It's really interesting because I also wonder if like there are people around you that like you're being watched, but not in like a creepy way or anything like that, but just, I mean, maybe there are people around you that are really rooting for you. I mean, like they could be sensing that you are on the brink of a breakthrough. It's just interesting how many eyes are in this reading. I mean, it could be, of course, like, protect yourself, like, the whole evil eye thing. I don't think so. I don't really get vibes like that, but what, I'm just throwing it out there. We're not welcoming of that. But yeah, it's like getting a clear idea in your head of what you want your life to look like, your daily routines, how you're making your money, how you are managing your health, right? Like, how are you managing your mental health, right? Like, and it's not just crowding a bunch of shit in there. It's taking one step at a time, making manageable changes to where it is something that you can, it's like, it's not that you haven't worked out in 2 years, so you go back to lifting the same weight that you did 2 years ago. Like you're going to hurt yourself, right? No, it's realizing like where you're at, seeing where you want to go, and then literally just taking the steps to get there. There's another butterfly on here. Like I said, there's this coffin. I mean, like truly. And if you, like the majority of us, do have some suppressed or unresolved shame around literally anything and everything, then allow yourself to see that, allow yourself to feel it, allow yourself to work through it. Brene Brown is a big working through shame person. I know that there are probably more, of course, people out there now that focus on that, but she's where I started and blew my socks off. So yeah, I mean, there is a potential here, and it's like you're in the middle of it. So keep going. There is, there's stuff that is either coming up now or it's been there that is, it's kind of muddying things a little bit, or even just showing you, right? Like where you have some work to put in, like some love to put into certain areas of your life. And also I mean, this is a big life change. Like this is recreating or reinventing your temperament or even your personality, or, I mean, it's doable through healing, through love, right? Like through letting go, right? Focusing on what is in front of you. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.